Hello, everyone. Hopefully, I'm audible. Okay. Let me just do the usual, guys. Okay, won't be a sec. Come on.
Those who want to act on climate.
Shut up. I'm just going to change the trailer. I can do it now. It's easier to do it now. Same with Facebook shares. If I do them now and share them around all the groups, saves a lot of time. My computer's running slow tonight. Come on. Oh well. Oh, hang on. Just got to wait for it to catch up. Sorry. What happened there? Okay, is that sorted? Is that done? Where was I? And published. There we go. I'm sure lots of you clamouring now in the chat box saying, Ben, where are you? I'm here. Here we are. And published. There we go. Oh, I can see some of you there. You can now pin messages to the top. All right. No. Oh, okay. I'm pleased to say I'm using the dark thing now. Hang on. I'm just doing the share around, guys. Won't be long. Usual thing. Just so people on social media can see me. Just share it around my usual groups. Seeing as that Facebook have banned my Panmo pages, it goes, yeah, except for the HPWA blog for some reason. Oh, and I think that's it now. Oh, yeah. And, of course, hashtag Ukraine. There we go. All right, guys. Hello, all of you. Welcome. Oh, it's all... I'm getting all the comments now. Hello, all of you. Oh, I've seen so many comments already. I've only been on air for 3 minutes, and suddenly I've got loads of them. Oh, hello. Hello to User1, Hugo Rune, Charles from Project Canada. What do you mean, finally, Charles? I saw your comment on my notice. I'm going to go through that in a moment. Classic Cars of Harrogate spotted. Hello. Disc Match. Hello. Lisa. Greetings, Lisa. Number one fan. Hi. Tim the Pigeon Master. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Hello, Charles and everyone else. Bernie Tucker, Woody Black, Jeff Sperry. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for your comment on her Panmo radio player the other day. Della Farrant. Hello, Mrs. Farrant. How you doing? Elizabeth Clayton. Hello. Legend Real. And David, Splendid Isolation. What a week it's been, indeed. Yeah, it has a bit, hasn't it? Luxury Turtle. It's more confusing than COVID, huh? It's meant to be. Yeah. Glowtone, how you doing? All of you, welcome, all of you. To begin with, I'm going to go through the comments because I want to go through the notice comments because I always forget. I'm going to include the comments that were posted on the last notice. That's the nuclear fusion one. Why am I getting an error message? Can you see me all right? No one's complaining about buffering, so I assume you're all right. I'm recording the bugger anyway. Okay, so I'll go through the comments first. Firstly, this is the nuclear fusion live stream notice. David Splendid Isolation says, I know you believe in 0 point energy et al., but the way things are, fusion is the most viable method of abundant energy production into the near future. It'll be a huge day when they finally crack it to be utilised properly. I disagree, David. Firstly, it's not the most viable method of abundant energy. It's not free energy. It's the only difference between fusion and any other form in terms of economics. As I've said before, is that it comes from a non-polluting source and produces no waste, but it still requires a huge amount of maintenance. The research project is like, how long has it been going on for now? When they finally crack it, and when's that going to be? Is ITER going to do it? I mean, and, what about Tesla technology? What about cold fusion? What about all those other things? Charlie says, excited for this. MH370 stream coming soon. Charlie, I'll get round to it, mate. Just keep reminding me. Kerry Woolley, nuclear. Charles, nuclear. New, N-U, Q, and L-A. All right. Charles also says here, first again, eat my dust minions. And Hugo Roon says, been at the end of this. You jokingly referred to my stardom after being on ITV. Do me a favour, Ben. Post my video on your site. You can get an audience. I don't. Sure, Hugo. I'll do that. But you have to send me the actual, rather than just sending me a downloaded file, could you send me the URL if it's online somewhere? Or do I have to upload it to something? And on today's live stream, Marky Boy says, damn, I will be out, so we'll miss this one, but we'll hopefully catch up on the replay at work. Hi, Marky. Sorry to hear that, mate, but I think, weren't you there? Didn't I see your name somewhere? Maybe, are you skipping work, specially? For Panmo TV? I won't tell your boss. Okay, and now, what's the next one? Next one. But Limespec says, well, I will try and watch as I'm not out this weekend at all, but I don't think I will enjoy the Putin apologetics, but hey-ho, we disagree. Fair enough, Limespecs. I know we disagree on a lot, so this will be one more thing. That if you're not partying like a wild girl, then please do come and join. You are a girl, aren't you? Are you a male or female? Sorry if I got your gender wrong. Don't sue me for misgendering, please. But a wild guy or wild gal, whatever you are, if you're not partying like one of them, hope you come and join us. Kerry Woolley says, Hegelian dialectic played on the sleeping masses. I think from the West point of view, yes, it is. Putin's got another idea, but we'll come to that in a minute. Charles from Project Camelot says, come on, what's keeping you? He posted that like 6 minutes to 7. Charles, what do you expect? I told you starting at 7, mate. Cosmic Claire says, I will aim to attend. Well, hope you can, Claire. Elizabeth Clayton says, thanks, love. Oh, you're welcome, Elizabeth. It's the LUV word for love. Oh, yeah. Hello, all of you. So, guys, it's great you're here on this rather... It's very, very disturbing week, really, isn't it? Yeah, what a week, says David Splendid Isolation. Lisa says, has anyone seen the 2013 UK black comedy series Utopia? Just started watching it. Conspiracy Theorist Dream. Lisa, yes, I have. I've seen the Amazon remake. That's the Channel 4 one, the original. The Amazon remake is worth watching. It's not as good. It's not as horrible either, but it's worth watching. Lisa, it will honestly, it'll boil your piss. What phrase do I use? It'll turn your head. It really will. This. It really will. You won't believe it. I watch it and I drop. When you've watched it, read my reviews. On her Panmo Voice. I'm glad you can hear me, guys. If everyone can hear me, there's no problem, isn't it? Della says, I can't look at your Blogspot posts, Ben. My ISP blocks them, I presume. Oh my God, Della. Your entire ISP. I mean, oh my goodness. Because I know it's blocked on certain networks. You can't get it on Stagecoach. Like I was on the coach from London to Oxford. I couldn't access my own website. I can on National Express, but not on Stagecoach Wi-Fi. Could you inbox me? Let me know what your ISP is, because if you might have to use a VPN. I mean, you can access them, but you'd have to use a VPN. You'd have to use something like the Tor browser. Charles says the solution to free energy is the pistol shrimp. Yeah, well, I mentioned that on the. Do you remember me mentioning that on the live stream the other night? David says, I qualified my statement by saying I realise your position re free energy, but practically speaking, it's our best bet for the foreseeable future. Hope ZPE happens too in society. Well, fusion energy is allowed, David, which probably means it may not work. I mean, they're probably. It depends. ITER is not going to. They said they're going to have first plasma in 2025. That probably means 2028. You know what sort of the building trade is like. So it could be 2 decades or more till we have like a viable fusion energy. Hello, Martin Taylor. So, but then you think the Tesla stuff could be literally. It could be, if it was declassified today, it could be, because it's already been developed by the breakaway civilization, it could be wheeled out within 5 years, easily. As you know, if you in the Roswell Rising, you know that there's like an interim period where they use a different technology before bringing in the proper free energy. Martin Taylor, hello. Jason Gavea, hello. Ian Batchelor, welcome. Araminta Mooncrow, hello. Ben and Truth Seekers, Araminta, thanks for joining me. I'm just getting this in before I have my sleep till 2 a.m. when I'll wake up and for a bit, you know. Kerry Woolley says A Brave New World. Isn't it amazing, Kerry? You know, he wrote that book in Aldous Huxley wrote that book in 1930, almost 100 years ago now. How did he know? Did he have a crystal ball, or did he just knew what the? Or did he just know what was coming? Woody Black says it'll bring your piss to a boil. Yeah, Lisa, you won't. But if you've just started watching it, Lisa, you're in for a treat. I'll tell you, with Utopia, you really are. Della, I'll send you those links. Yeah, I will. Hugo says I do not have a link for my video online. I just have my own copy. Right, I will. Okay, Hugo, no problem. I'll get it done. Well, thanks, Della. Thank you very much for letting me know about this, and I appreciate, you know, what you. I know you can. I'm sure you know how to work around it, and it is very, very worrying. And I mean, it explains why, for example, when I look at how much did I got? Like, let's just look at my stats for her Panwo voice. It's like I think I got 58. I've got 58 views so far on my last article. I know that obviously I've been shadow banned on YouTube. My viewing figures are a third of they were before. I've got 54 views on yesterday's article, 103 on the one before. It's all double figures, and so I have to go down to like Simon Parkes is Innocent before I get then 200. I've got 219 views on that, and that's drama. Drama always brings in viewers, but I just can't believe it. It's like. This explains it, Della. It explains because everyone was saying, "Well, Ben, your blog's just not as popular. You just don't write as well as you used to." Well, no, maybe this is it. Oh dear. Oh, Lisa, you're on episode 1. You will honestly, by the time you finished it, you'll be making 3 entire shows about it. It's unbelievable. Araminta Munko, how many shrimp would it take to boil a kettle? I don't know, Araminta. How many shrimp would it take to boil a kettle? I like jokes. I suppose you sounds like a joke, that, yeah. Are the masked jabberoos off to fight the Russians then? Well, Kerry, I couldn't believe it when I was looking at the people in the bomb shelters in Kiev. I just couldn't believe it, Jason. They were sitting there. Some of them were on the underground stations, just like in London during the Blitz. They were like camped out in the underground stations. A baby was born down there. And it's like they had their bloody masks on. They got bombs dropping all around them. They're building their homes are being destroyed. I know the Russians are not targeting the civilian areas, but obviously, whenever they, you're always going to get like bombs and missiles that go astray. People have been killed. If I was in that situation, putting on my coof nappy would be the last thing on my mind. Jason says, do you think Putin and circular people will plan a cyber attack on the major banks and the internet? Jason, if it happens, it will probably be a false flag by the globalists. All this idea that Russia are a bunch of cyber criminals. All the other things, I know other people disagree, but they've been blamed for cyber attacks on everything from the US election to Brexit to all kinds of things. Russian cyber criminals have been responsible for it. However, every single time, it's just like with the poisoning, every single time it's turned out to be a false flag and or hoax. So if it happens, I reckon 90% sure it's not Russia that did it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Martin Taylor, does anyone know what's happened to Jimmy Jean? A lot of people have been asking that. I know that the Aftermath FM site's gone down, but he's apparently still going on. Someone was asking me about that. I wish I had the details now, but the original Aftermath FM's gone, but it's apparently he's still posted on Facebook. Polisneo Music, why do we only see pictures of 1 or 2 Russian vehicles, never a convoy or jets in the air? Well, we see jets in the air, but like, if you compare this to the footage, the sort of embedded footage from the Iraq War, this is nothing like it. Charles says that no nonsense Huxley noticed the history is circular. Yeah. Well, Charles, he was in the Fabian Society, you know. Kerry Woolley says Huxley in the know, same as George Orwell. Yeah. Huxley taught George Orwell at Eton. Yeah, he was a school teacher. Makes sense, doesn't it? Jeff Sperry, did anyone see the 2018 pic of the Ukrainian woman with the blood and bandage wrapped around her head? Plastered all of... Was that really from 2018? Because it's been all over the BBC. She apparently... This was the... This was this building that was struck, wasn't it? It was in Chugev. A block of flats in a place called Chugev was destroyed by artillery fire, and you see this woman crying with bandages around her head standing outside. It's been all over the BB and bloody sea, hasn't it? There's a whole load of stuff that I don't know if it's... I don't know how much of this is real or fake. I mean, I don't like to just assume everything is fake. But at the same time, don't underestimate them. I'll go through some of the things I think are fake this evening. Is Bowler Hatman going to show up? That's the question. He will. He won't be resisted. Oh, Lisa says, where is it now? I'm trying to keep up with it. Hang on, let me just do the... I'm getting some reading classes. I know I keep saying that, but I'm getting some... So if that's a fake image, it wouldn't surprise me if that is really a fake image. Charles, your film reviews are very popular. Yeah, someone else asked for one of those as well. And I will do another. I'm going to check out the cinema, see what's on. Elizabeth Clayton found my show on DuckDuckGo. Oh, they're better than Google, yeah. David says, you know what Russia's attempting to do, don't you? Yeah, I think what Putin is doing is he's attempting to prevent his nearest neighbour being taken over by basically a foreign power that seeks the destruction of his country, or the transformation of his country into another compliant globalist state, which is like what all the others are. And Jeff says it's from a gas explosion in 2018. Oh my God, Jeff. If you can find any source material for that, could you post it? That's... Crisis Actor, says Lime Specs. Hey, Lime Specs, I'm glad you made it. Yeah. No good parties tonight. Oh, Caramintus Woods says it's not a joke, Ben. I mean, if we get free energy from shrimp, how do we harness it? Sorry, Amaranth, I thought it just sounded like a joke. The actual pistol shrimp only produces a very small amount of sonoluminescent fusion, or plasma, I believe. You probably need about 10 million of them to get like 1 watt of energy. But the principle of sonoluminescence is the important bit. Do you remember me talking on the last live stream about... if you haven't seen it, Araminta, check out the recording. It's all the replays are there. I was saying that you could... sonoluminescence, there was a big cover-up of that, which is that BBC Horizon thing. Glowtone asked me, I know this is way off topic, and I apologise. Not to worry, Glowtone, we can go off topic a bit if you want. Has anyone seen the new footage from 9/11? I haven't known. Glowtone says there's been a... All right, Glowtone is talking about the attack on the block of... Well, it wasn't an attack on a block of flats. A missile struck a block of flats in Kiev. And as you see, it's left a massive gap in it. Oddly enough, though, it didn't collapse. It didn't turn into a cloud of dust. You know, coming back to 9/11 again. Sadly, 2 people were killed in that attack. But there's a second clip. Yeah, there's one clip taken from a nearby building, and there's another one taken from the ground. You see a missile striking this block of flats, which is very sad. I mean, I'm really sad. I'm sad this is happening. Lisa says about the masks in Ukraine, it could be dusty, and they may be warranted for once. Yeah. Kerry says the Great Reset. Yeah, Klaus Schwab's Great Reset. It's all a part of that, yeah. Oh, Lisa, just wait till you finish watching Utopia. Gradient says, Jimmy has his Into the Microcosm YouTube channel. Is he still on there, Gradient? Because I haven't checked his channel, but he still posts on Facebook. Evening, Paul Armstrong. And Line Specs makes a good point here, that this is the new thing to replace COVID, yeah. Did you see that meme I posted? So many people have been posting it. Let me show it to you. This is just perfect, isn't it? This just says it all in an image, doesn't it? Exit, there's old COVID going in the door. In comes the war, yeah. Do you want to see another great meme? There we go. Bolly goes full woo. Yes, he is a fellow reader of the Light now, isn't he? So, Bolly, if you're in chat, let me know how you got on with the latest issue. Did it convince you? All right. David says, what Russia is attempting to do is regime change in Ukraine. They don't want to govern the country themselves. They'll install someone, possibly the exiled elected leader from Ukraine from 2014. Precisely, David, yeah. But Yanukovych. Now, technically, that's not like a taking over. That is, it's no more taking over. It's basically what the West did to Afghanistan and Iraq. They want a regime change. They want to install the guy. I mean, to be fair, Yanukovych was originally elected. However, he was basically deposed in 2014 during the Maidan Revolution, and then they brought in these pro-Western, pro-EU, pro-NATO puppets. I think there's 3 of them, and Zelensky's the most recent. Yanukovych has been in exile. I wouldn't be surprised if they do reinstall Yanukovych. And Lisa says this: if that can be confirmed, that picture is like a fake picture. Then we caught them red-handed. There's several as well. Lisa Rue, hi Lisa. I'm glad Jimmy Jeans is okay. He's still doing his stuff. Thanks very much for letting me know. Araminta, that link to UK column featured on Ukraine you posted was very interesting. Yes, it makes me angry to think that the vast majority of British people believe everything the BBC tells them. So do I, yeah. Charles, bang on the ceiling. Liberace's missing. He hasn't started yet. Brett Riverboat, unfortunately, I fear this will go nuclear in the end. Brett, obviously, I think we all hope that won't happen, but I will come to that. David, they want to decapitate the regime in Kiev and destroy their neo-Nazi contingent. Yeah, it's interesting that Putin has been banned. He's been slagged off for using that term, but he was talking about why he used it. Apparently, there was an old SS unit that went renegade and ended up setting up some kind of gangster family in Ukraine after World War II, and apparently they became very influential and affected. And I think the first guy to become president after independence in 1991 was connected to this family. It's a very, very long-lived gangster clan, apparently. It was actually Putin who used the word clan. Hello, Sue Hayward-Tonkin. Ben BHM, is that odd job? It's Ebola Hatman is. Well, you've seen my interview with him, I'm sure. He won't resist posting in chat tonight because we totally disagreed on this. Kerry Woolley 666 build back better. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's build back better. The B could be a 6. That's good. That's well spotted, Kerry. Yeah. Bronto Max Q Cyber Polygon played out for real. Oh, I can't get into the Q stuff tonight, I'm afraid, Bronto, but I have done an entire article, an entire video about that on Alt Tech. Knife Specs, how's the Rusky language going? Gdzie mój velocipede? Jem borscht. Jem wody. I'm sort of working little bits of it. Spasiba, says Hugo, because he has to write it in the Latin script. So Woody Black has pointed out how the government they've handed out 12,000 assault rifles just to the general public. It's basically like a public war now. And a lot of people made the point that the United States is taking guns away from people, and so are Canada. Well, Ukraine is just handing them out. If all this, I say when it's all over. I hope it'll all be over soon. Well, will they be expected to return them, or are they allowed to keep them? Glowtone says the clip was posted on a Reddit page. I'll check that out afterwards. Glowtone, will do. Yeah. Kerry, who sells weapons to Saudi Arabia? Most of the world, including Britain. Hello, Dr. Respect. The video is about on the news about Ukraine when they show a missile sticking out the ground. Looks like a missile chopped in half and glued to the ground. People standing next to it taking selfies. That actually is what I used for the illustration of the notice, and I thought it was an aircraft, but it wouldn't beside me. Someone's mentioned Mikhail Gorbachev, Jason. Yep. I'll be talking about Gorbachev because he's commented on this. Jason, he's put in his tuppence. I mean, the guy has been editing a magazine about Russian politics for the last 20, 30 years. Dr. Speck, standing next to an unexploded missile taking selfies. If a bomb sticking out of the ground and hasn't gone off, I'd be running as fast as I could in the other direction. Yeah, Dr. Respect, yes. Danger UXB. There's someone called Rahul Verma is writing something in a foreign language. I hope that's not rude, because I don't want... I'm going to have to remove that. I'm sorry, Rahul. It might be something rude, which might get this stream shut down. Because, like, someone tried that the last stream. They actually they posted under a username. The username itself was a very rude word. The type that YouTube does delete. And it was obvious they were just trying to get the algorithms to kick the live stream. Oh, David Spencer, that's it, David. The Azovs in Ukraine. That's it. The Azovs. They've been killing the separatists in Donbass. Yeah. This is not. They're not reporting that on the news now. He said the Guardian spent time with them. They're not reporting on the news now. Bowler Hatman told me that there's absolutely no welfare concern for ethnic Russians in Ukraine. Whereas Putin has said, and many people have said, said very clearly that the Russians, that they've suffered very badly under the hands of these, what he calls the Nazis. I call them globalists, Zelensky and his crowd. Della says it'll depend who wins and whether they keep their weapons. Yeah. Now, Glowtone, go ahead and post a link. I might have to approve it, but I'm interested to see things. Dr. Respect has made this good point. 22222. First country goes on lockdown. 120221. Rollout of vaccine. 22222. Russia invades Ukraine. Yeah. Lisa would appreciate that. Bernie Tucker, do you think our special forces are operating over there undercover, Ben? Well, there are specialists in the use of the NLAW missile currently at work in Ukraine. There are 300 of them sent over from Britain. The MOD arranged for them to go there to train the Ukrainian forces in the use of the missile. It's a very potent anti-tank weapon. It's small enough to carry in your hand, but it can destroy an entire tank. So there are 300 specialists from the Ministry of Defence over there now. They're probably, if that's probably just the start of it, yeah. Evening Jock of Ages. Kerry says there's footage of somewhere from the military talking about a jab that could change the way people think. Yeah, that was Bill Gates, wasn't it? Hello, Kelly. How'd you do? Right, let me just go through some points here I want to go through. Obviously, like, this is not what I expected. And a lot of you are going to say, well, Ben, you said this wouldn't happen. You said Putin is playing a more subtle game than that. And I did say that, and I was wrong. I don't have a cope here. I don't have an excuse. I was wrong. His strategy is obviously a lot simpler than I thought it was. Now, I could go on forever about the way the media was portraying this. I really, really could. I mean, I walked into on oh my god, on Friday morning. I walked into the yesterday it was sorry yesterday. I walked into the shop and I don't read newspapers. You know, they're all on display so you can see the headlines. And with the Sun, it was Mad Vlad. The Sun, it always does it. It has this kind of very toxic wit about it. And it always produces these it gives people very clever nicknames and things like that. And, you know, Madman Insane for Saddam Hussein. There's all kinds of other examples I could give you. And the things people are saying about Putin, he's got a hit list of people. He's going to round up all the gays. And I posted a comment under that article just saying, oh, don't forget to mention the little baby kittens and the little sweet puppies. Do you know he boils them up and eats them for dinner, don't you? That's what Putin does. They've literally gone that far. They've literally gone that nuts. Diego Rivera, hello. Alliance of Calgon, hello. Best wishes to you and your washing machine. So thank you. They live longer, don't they? Oh, where are we now? Jason, maybe the Russian mafia will put a price on Putin's head. I think they have for a long time. Yeah. Oh, Lisa was saying the Sun has actually been really bad for some of the taking the piss re-headlines during the big C word, but really sick, but that's what I would expect. Yeah. I'll tell you who's been really quiet during the C word thing. Ben Goldacre. He was very pro-V word on everything else. Yeah. Martin Taylor, Ras-Putin. Oh, yeah, you've seen the meme of Rasputin with Putin's face on it. It's ironic, you know, that Grigory Rasputin would have, if he lived, the whole of the 20th century would have been different. He was killed on the 30th of December 1916. Kelly, Abramovich is stepping away from Chelsea FC. All right. Maybe he's like buggering off to some bunker somewhere, you know. Now, just want to go through. There's so much I could go through tonight. We don't have time to go through it all. But basically, on Thursday, Putin, what I said wouldn't happen, happened. Putin just carried out a classic invasion. It started with missile strikes against the military bases, followed by ground forces penetrating the country. And the news has said all kinds of things. And I don't. Who knows what's really going on there? But the news is just terrible. I'll just show some of it to you. This is someone actually in the comments said, "Why are you using the BBC, Ben? You know they lie." I know they lie, guys. I know the BBC lie. I'm doing this I'm doing this simply to try and expose that. Kiev's Mayor Vitaly Klitschko imposes a curfew. Oh right, so everyone's got to stay in tomorrow for Sunday. Anyone streaming on the streets will be considered a Russian saboteur. The Ukrainian capital is based for another night of attacks after the Russian forces failed to break through. Huge numbers of people are fleeing Ukraine. 27-hour-long queue of women and children on the Moldovan border. Apparently the men have been told to stay behind. Basically, they're being press ganged into the defence force. I mean, it's like a complete. They reckon there's like now 18,000 irregulars now on, you know, just backing up the army. Germany says it supports targeted restrictions on Russia's access to the SWIFT payment system. It has been the EU's final holdout. Well, they're already throttling the gas supply, aren't they? Hungary's PM Viktor Orban, who has close relations with Vladimir Putin, tells the BBC he supports all EU sanctions. Oh my God, so much for based Victor. The UK, meanwhile, says it and 25 other nations will send more weapons and aid to Ukraine. Well, how long is it? You know, are we going to get sucked into this fully? I mean, is this really going to turn into a world war? 120,000 people have escaped Ukraine into 48 hours. That means there's going to be a massive. There's going to be a massive, huge. Hang on, there we go. Let's check in the comments, guys. I did that, didn't I? Yeah. Someone mentioned what's By Dawn's Early Light. Tim, that's a film, isn't it? That's got, that's quite good, that film. I think it was the last Cold War movie. I think it was 1990. It came out really after the Cold War. It was the first post-Cold War movie, 1989 or 1990. But it's a good film. It's on YouTube. Kerry Woolley. Alexander Johnson's doing his war act. He had to give him his real name, yeah. Oh, he's just like reading from a script. It's just I haven't been bothered watching Biden's speech. I mean, apparently it's as incoherent as ever. But they're all just all the Western leaders are reading from the same script. Lisa, you know, you shared that thing with me from Rumble. That was very interesting. That was. Hello, Joe Glover. How are you? How do you do, Joe Glover? And according to the Alliance of Calgon, Orban introduced the V-word passports. All right. Diego Rivera was into the numerology of the day again. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? 24 to it was the 24th that the invasion happened, but yeah. Jock says, I thought he was defending Donetsk and Luhansk areas that, yeah. I didn't think he'd go any further than maybe sending some peacekeepers into Donetsk and Luhansk. Oh, the Trump speech tonight. Yeah, we've got to watch Trump at CPAC, definitely. David Schultz, how do you do? George W. Bush slams Putin for illegal invasion. Pot and kettle indeed, yes. Dr. Respect, can I post a link to an amazing image that's been found all over the world from ancient times to the modern day? Yeah, sure. Kerry Woolley's talking about the numerology to do with skull and bones. Biden is unwatchable. He bloody is, isn't he? Kerry, I'll come to Chernobyl in a minute because that's very interesting. Hi, the lights below. Ravenhills, Devil Wind 1968 says, hi Ben, I hope this isn't a silly question. Do you think Russia will invade Britain? No. They can't do that. But they will, this could escalate to a time, it could escalate up to a point where we are all sucked into it. And I mean, maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's the Illuminati plan. But I think Putin, you see, he is actually fighting back against globalism, against the New World Order. I just hope he knows what he's doing. And Dante Alighieri says those in-laws have been doing a hell of a job. Yeah, there's pictures of a destroyed tank. I'll come to it in a minute, but Truss draws up new Russian oligarch sanctions hit list. More of the super-rich linked to Vladimir Putin's regime will be hit with restrictions. I think maybe Abramovich is going to have to get out of the country. Oh, here we go. God, they can't resist it, can they? Africans fleeing Ukraine report discrimination at the borders. Oh dear, not more bloody. They have to get these racist accusations in, don't they? Zelensky welcomes. Let me just go to screen capture. Germany's decision to send weapons to Ukraine to help fight the Russian invasion. This move represents a major U-turn on Berlin in its long-standing policy of not sending lethal aid to conflict zones. Right. They're sending anti-tank grenade launchers and Stinger missiles, says Zelensky. Reason behind Abramovich's move unclear. Well, do you think it's a coincidence that Abramovich is now... I don't know if he's actually... he may resign formally from Chelsea. He may disappear. But he hands over the stewardship of Chelsea. Missing millions in bitcoins pouring into Ukraine from anonymous donors. Is this... And of course, what about when the anonymous donors sent them to the Canadian truckers? The government blocked them, didn't they? I never believed Russia would invade until it did. I mean, that's an awful thing to see. This is Ilya Barabanov, a journalist. And look, these people are basically hiding. It's horrible. I really hate this happening. I mean, for anyone who accuses me of being all gung-ho about what Putin's done, I'm not. I'm not. I think I'm not in the situation he is. Maybe is the only option for him. But I wish this hadn't happened. I really did. I really do wish this hadn't happened. There you go. That's a Russian tank that's been blown up, probably with an N-law missile, probably with a British weapon that's been given to the Ukrainian army. There we are, and there's your latest. I don't believe it. I heard this earlier. The leader of Russia's Chechnya region has deployed his fighters to Ukraine to join the battle with the Russian troops. You'd think because of history, they'd be totally anti-Russian. It was only about 30 years ago that Russia carried out, under Yeltsin, or can only be described as a genocidal attack on Chechnya. There we go. And there we are. Germany's now funding on sending weapons to Ukraine. Russian commanders frustrated by the slow advance. Apparently, we've been told that the Ukrainians are holding them off. They are holding off the Russians. So they've got so many people now. I mean, they've literally armed the entire population. They have their own regular army, which is now massively fortified by international funding and weaponry and armaments and training and things like that. And along with them, they have this enormous. They have 12,000 irregulars who've been basically drafted in to help. And this happened actually when Germany attacked under Barbarossa. It was 1941 when Germany attacked under Operation Barbarossa. The same thing happened. That part of the world is very, very hard to conquer. I mean, I wouldn't say Ukraine specifically, but Ukraine was actually overrun by the Nazis. But when they couldn't get to Moscow. They couldn't get any. It's partly its geographical isolation, but also the tenacity of the people, the Russian people. And as Putin said, the Russian and Ukrainian people are linked by spirit, there's a massive spiritual connection between the Russian and Ukrainian people. What is SWIFT, by the way? Does anyone know? It's something to do with banking. I escaped Kabul, and now I'm in the middle of another war. Oh my God. Fazila, it's like that's like the story of the guy who was in Hiroshima when the bomb went off. He survived and fled to Nagasaki. Oh dear, I feel sorry for these people. I really do. I really do. Oh, night falls on Kiev. Normal life has gone underground. You see, these are heart-rending images, and they're meant to be. But the BBC. I'm not saying these aren't true. Maybe some of them are staged, like we've heard earlier, but it's obviously designed to breed sympathy for the Ukrainian people, and the amount of this is in London. There's a massive protest stand with Ukraine. I'll tell you what, the Ukrainian flag thing. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. And this is a woman with a pink hat. I don't know if that's a connection to the anti-Trump thing. Seen from the Moldovan border. Ukraine is a nation of women. Oh no, I don't mean to make light of it. Obviously, the BBC I'm taking a piss out of the BBC, not the people. I'm not, but they have to bring in the feminist angle. They always do. They can't resist it. And that's good. Going back to 5 p.m. We are going backwards now. I'm not going to sort of go to the back. Who are the key players about this conflict? A destroyed Russian supply vehicle in Kiev, yeah. They call it Kyiv now, not Kiev. It used to be Kiev spelt K-I-E-V, which is the Russian name. They call it K-Y-I-V, which is the Ukrainian name for their own capital. But I still say... Women are making firebombs to defend their city. Again, feminists, they bring in the feminist angle again. From there, to be honest, what am I supposed to say to people doing this? They're not really in a position where they can think in political terms. All they see is an enemy bearing down on their city, and who knows what's going to happen when they get there? Are they just going to depose Zelensky and then leave it at that, or there's going to be some kind of massive crackdown where people are going to get killed? Is it going to be like Berlin in 1945 and the nightmare that took place there, especially for women, when that happened? So if I was in their situation, would I be able to make a live stream like this? Would I be thinking in these terms now, or would I be lining up to grab my rifle? I mean, what are you supposed to do? And there's more of these heart-rending scenes here of... Russia's dirty bomb speculation is fake. The Ukraine's foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, has hit back at allegations that his government intends to detonate a dirty bomb on Russian territory. Right, we're going to hear all about dirty bombs and... Charles, he started. Can you hear him? How are you guys getting on in chat? He is here. No, let's go through your comments here. I'm just trying to keep up with them. Hello, Valkyrie. I can't read every comment, I'm afraid. Allies. Oh, my fridge is racist white goods. Hello, salute, peaceful warrior. How do you do? Pride and dignity. The Valkyrie, the whole China thing, and its links to Russia, I can't go into right now. Styx Hexenhammer's talking about this. I'm sort of... Now, I think he's got completely the wrong take, Styx. He really has. Bernie Tucker says something interesting. The little green men won't allow the use of nuclear weapons, Ben. Bernie, I'll be coming on to that later. That's a very interesting point. Della says lots of people in groups I belong to are stocking up on potassium iodide. Yeah, in case of nuclear fallout. Or Della, you know, it is actually potassium iodide is actually it is a decontaminant for ionizing radiation. I remember after the Chernobyl disaster, some people were taking it. I mean, there may be another... Obviously, if nuclear bombs detonate, there'll be fallout. It probably won't be as bad as Chernobyl, though. It won't be. Colin says, do you think NATO will retaliate and blitz Russia? If they did, it would be suicide. It would be mutually assured destruction. Nihilist lives matter. Where's Antifa? Isn't this the exact thing? The invasion is the exact thing they're against. Oh, they're cheering on Ukraine now. All the lefties are cheering on Ukraine now. Peaceful warrior trained with the Ukraine. Good lads. Poorly funded and trained. Peaceful warrior. Yeah, not anymore. Well, it's improved a bit because even though Ukraine is not a NATO member, they're definitely a very, very close fellow traveller. And as you've been hearing, the West has been sending weapons and training. Weapons sent the Endor missile. Germany's now sending weapons to them. The Ministry of Defence here over here sent 300 specialists to train the Ukrainian army in the use of the Endor missiles. Jeff Sperry says here, once a war starts, nobody can say how it ends. Yeah, that's why it's such a risky thing. This is why... Putin, I've always... As I said, he's always been a guy one of the few statesmen on earth I feel any sense of respect for. I mean, he is a leader. I mean, he is... Russia's lucky. They're one of the few countries in the world that actually has a leader. Everybody else just has representatives within the global community. That's what Boris is. That's what Macron is. That's what Biden is. Trudeau. All of them. Russia says, no, I'm the leader of Russia. He doesn't say, he's not a rep. He's not bringing my country to the global stage. No, he says, I'm the leader of bloody Russia. But once the war starts, no one can say how it ends. Yeah. So, but I mean, I could only hope he knows what he's doing. I can only hope that he does have some kind of plan up his sleeve. Jason says, unfortunately, a lot of them wouldn't stand a chance against trained soldiers. Well, obviously, they're just, like they said, they're just ordinary people who've been just given guns and said, no, you go for it. It's the kind of sort of, it is kind of like an act of desperation. Now, I don't know how much of this is real, you see. Sweeps, Fox, hello. Hiya, mate. Yep, Putin attacks V-word mandates for army country woke. BS supports white males and family. He's death to New World Order. Big Pharma globalist war on human sovereignty. Thanks for joining us, Sweeps. Richard Best, I'm putting a tenner on Ukraine to win the Eurovision. They probably will, you know. They will just out of a sympathy thing. And Russia's not in it now, haven't they? They've been... Oh, my God, that's the cruel... They've been banned from Eurovision. Oh, my God, how horrible. Putin just shrugged and said, "Nul point." It won't be Ireland for a change, and maybe Turkey. If Russia was in it, they would come last instead of Turkey for a change. Would be something. David, the SWIFT is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, a Belgian cooperative society that serves as an intermediary and executor of financial transactions between banks worldwide. Right, you are. Peaceful warrior. I escaped Kabul, now I'm in another war. Selfie time, yeah. Alistair Norman, is Putin really trying to fight the New World Order, or is he actually just another NWO puppet playing his part? The former, Alistair. There we go. I can't read every article. Hello, Gary Garner, stack of ribs. Gary says, I'm appalled by the lack of diversity within the Ukrainian army. Hardly any women and not enough POC. Well, the Russians are the same, you know, so maybe they realise how to actually run an army. The lights were low. Is it pure coincidence C-19 rules end, and the very next day we're baited with World War III? As David Icke would say, just a coincidence, nothing to worry about. Where are we now? No, that's hello. I'm fine, thanks, Peaceful Warrior. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're okay. Diego Rivera, China, Taiwan next. Well, China are taking advantage of the distraction, aren't they? Everyone's looking the other way. They've been sending their planes to harass Taiwan again, haven't they? Oh, Charles threw a brick through. He threw a brick through Liberace's window with a note attached. Oh, right. So, you know, the mind powers don't work anymore, do they, Charles? Neil, hello. Neil Peel from the Paranormal Peep Show. Hi, Ben and everyone. Can't stay. Full run because I'm going to watch Netflix. I've been watching the UK column. Yes, that was very interesting, wasn't it? I watched that. There's another one which Lisa posted from Rumble, which talks about the whole thing. Talks about the fact that one of the first things Russia did was seize Chernobyl. That's not. It is just south of the Belarusian border, luckily. But there's a reason why they seized Chernobyl. There are biolabs as well in Ukraine. Woody Black, why does Putin call the Ukrainian government Nazis? Because of the Azovs. I think someone above was... someone above explained that basically there was a very long-lived crime family in Ukraine that dates back to the occupation by Germany after 1941. Tim says Putin is a bad person just like every other leader. No, he's not, Tim. No, he's not. Dante Alieri says, I'm retired SOF personnel. I would like to say the Ukrainian soldiers on the ground certainly need an advanced radar jamming system to blind Russian radars and get the superiority. Oh, well, you know, I have no doubt that they're currently making that request to Germany right now. Jeff Sperry gives a very good sarcastic answer to Tim. Nick, Putin won't allow anti-war protests. I know. I'm tempted to be apologetic towards him and say he's a nation under siege. They had 700 arrests they made over the protests in St. Petersburg, but obviously it's a nation under siege. But you know, I'd hope he would allow free speech in his country. Yeah. And by the way, he doesn't poison his opponents. That's all lies. He doesn't put people in gulags. Lisa, it seems like people like the Bidens and Pelosi are virtually running the place. Yeah, not Joe, of course. He couldn't run his own trip to the bog, but his son Hunter has been. Yeah. And as for Pelosi, do you think why were the FBI so keen to get her laptop back when it was stolen by the Q Shaman and his friends? I'm sure it wasn't anything to do with her sex tape. Maybe it's because it's got the same things as Hunter Biden's laptop on. Lisa says many Western heads have their dirty fingers in Ukrainian pies. Yeah. Peaceful Warrior says one of the Ukrainian soldiers on guard had only fired 16 rounds in his service time. I wish them luck. I don't want to see him getting hurt, Peaceful War. I really don't. I don't want to see him getting hurt. I think there's been a lot of... I think we should examine critically some of the claims being made about this war. There's something a bit dodgy about some of the stories coming out of it. Jeff, that is Liberace in the background, yeah. Oh, X22 report, Lisa. I know that. That's very good as well. Yeah, I was talking about the one you sent me, and also Magda posted it as well. What was it? Oh no, it wasn't Paul Joseph Watson. That's the one I'm watching at the moment. Or I was. It was red pilled. What's it called? Red pilled somebody. Oh, where's my subs? Hang on. My content. Where's my bloody sub? Can't get that one. I'll just go to my history. One sec. Yep, this is this one. The Truth About Ukraine, Liberation, End Times, Major Clues. That's from Red Pill, The World. Now, I don't agree with her Christian perspective. I mean, David might be interested in this, but she puts in a massive amount of material, which is very interesting. I'm not a Christian apocalyptic eschatologist, but this is the video anyway on Rumble. There's the URL. Oh, it's got some kind of suffix on it as well, but don't worry about that. You can find it. Oh, Lisa, thank you. Lisa goes and posts the link. Thank you. Jeff Sperry, Coach Red Pill. Yeah. Hello, Terry. Not my rabbit hole with Terry Joyce. Hey, Terry, how you doing? There are a lot red pill somebodies. Lol. Yeah, Coach Red Pill, who lives in eastern Ukraine. He actually lives somewhere. I forgot exactly where he lives, but I think it's in the Donbass or near Donbass. He's been walking around the street making videos. Now, that bloke completely vanished. He deleted his channel. I don't know where he's been. Then he pops up. He does a couple of interviews, which people are sharing, and he was talking about because he lives in Ukraine. He's actually a Chilean. He comes from Chile in South America, but he lived here in Britain for a while. Now he lives in Ukraine. And he's walking around, and things seem fairly normal where he is. There's no... The electricity is still on, the water is still on, which is ironic because according to someone else I can't remember, the Zelensky was actually cutting off the water and electricity supply to Luhansk and Donetsk, and he says that all the Wi-Fi still works, the mobile phones, internet, gas, water, it's all working. The Russians are not trying to harm the people. Obviously, there's going to be some fighting, and it's sad. I mean, Peaceful Warrior mentioned this young guy's only fired 16 rounds. I don't want to see people getting hurt. I know people have been killed. And I've got nothing against the Ukrainian people. Kelly says something about, I don't think William would have his family at rugby an hour ago if his grandmum had... well... William maybe, but not about Harry. Harry has a different grandmother, of course, doesn't he? But yeah, check Coach Red Pill on... I did post it on my Twitter, Coach Red Pill's video. I don't know where he uploaded it to anywhere other than that, but Coach Red Pill is saying that basically there's a lot of lies being told about all this. I'll go through some more in a minute. Alistair Norman, if they want to orchestrate a third world war as a replacement for the C word, I mean, how far do they want to push it? I mean, we know we're going to have our food prices rising up. Petrol's going to cost more. Everything's going to be more expensive. Yeah. Okay. Now, RT has been censored. I put this article up on her Panwo Voice. I've already put up a portal, incidentally, to... that's the missile. Is that a missile or an aircraft? I think it looks like a plane, but I've already put up this portal. I've already managed to gather like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 publications on this subject. But here's old, where is he? Here's old greasy face here. This was before Thursday. He did this. He stood up in Parliament and he demanded that Ofcom withdraw the broadcasting license from RT. And that is just unbelievable, isn't it? That is unbelievable. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, really, because it shouldn't really be. RT is like, I watch RT all the time, and it's, along with GB News, it's one of the really, really good, like open-minded news channels that interviews like people on UFOs and stuff. I mean, it's so open-minded. And they, of course, it is pro-Russian. I mean, it's got a disclaimer saying this is RT is funded wholly or in part by the Russian government. Well, and Starmer is saying it's the Russian government's personal propaganda tool. It's Putin's it's Putin's pulpit, I think he called it. But no one says that about the BBC, do they? No one says that about the BBC. When the BBC is not only state-controlled, it's state-owned. Why is there no disclaimer under the BBC saying that? Why is Ofcom not doing away with that? I mean, why is Ofcom not taking the BBC down? The Ofcom was the Office of Communications. It was not set up. It was not set up for political censorship. It was set up to protect the viewers from harmful content. It wasn't set up for political censorship, but that's what it's being used for. Same way banks are being used for political purposes now. What's a bank's purpose? It has only one purpose: to keep your money. Some way where you can keep your money. And now what they're doing, they're freezing the accounts of people the government don't like. They're shutting down the bank accounts of people for joining the wrong political party. If you give money to the truckers, you'll be attacked. You'll have your PayPal squeezed. You'll get your bank account frozen. Everything. All these things that were never political are now being made political. Alistair asked me what I'm drinking. It's dragon juice. It's actually just it's just vitamin C. Della, everyone's asking about the Queen, whether the Queen's died. I wouldn't be surprised if she had. I mean, was her Christmas speech a deep fake? Either way, it'll be announced when it's convenient. If she goes to that great reptile house in the sky, then that's it. Paul Curtis, Putin's putting an end to black money being washed in Ukraine and ending up in You say hunter. You could say hunters. It's all right. Yeah. That's just the start of it. I mean, that Hunter Biden had this. Trump had this phone call with the Ukrainian finance minister and was basically demanding that he extradited Hunter Biden to the FBI. And the Ukraine the energy minister or finance minister said, no, we're not going to let him go. And that's just the start of it. Ukraine is like the Havana of the 21st century. It is literally, it does seem to be turned into that. And of course, now Biden is the president, or says he's the president. I can't say too much on YouTube about that. Of course, now everything's gone back to business as usual. But Putin refused the World Bank loan in 2008. After the stock market crash in 2008, the World Bank was offering loans to so many countries, which it's really done them great. Greece had one, and Ireland. What's happened to them? The people who refused. Who refused? Iceland refused. Iceland under Joanna Sigurðardóttir, who, along with Putin, again, is a real leader, someone I really respected. I don't think she's not Prime Minister anymore, unfortunately. And the other was Vladimir Putin. As a result, by 2009, the Icelandic economy had expanded by 6%. And Russia, if it wasn't for the crash in oil prices that happened a few years later, Russia would be the same. Russia is the world's biggest country, geographically, by a long way. It has, I think, the 5th or 6th biggest population. It has numerous resources. Russia could have an economy on the scale of China or the USA. It could be an economic giant. Instead, it's, as Bowler Hatman said, its GDP is the same as Italy's. Why? Because it's been throttled. Was it? Putin said it's a knife put to our throat. Yeah. As for RT, now if RT, have you noticed, David? That, and I'm sure the others have noticed, they're getting so much more blatant and barefaced, aren't they? These people, the government, about what they're doing. They don't try to hide it anymore. I mean, they say literally, we just don't want people to see these things. We don't want people to have this information, so we're going to suppress it. Peaceful Warrior says you found a really good Indian news channel. All right, on a par with RT. Right, check that out, Peaceful Warrior, because India has potential actually for being another Russia. I can't go into that now, but if the right people take control in India, I mean, the population there is, it's 1 out of every 6 people in the world lives in India. I mean, it's a huge population, and the resources, the potential is enormous. India could be another superpower like Russia. But anyway, I was saying that the government are getting more and more blatant about things. They say, we want to stop RT because we just don't want you to see it. Because it's giving out information we don't want people to see. They don't dress it up anymore. They don't pretend anymore. I mean, they do sometimes put in little snippets. They still make excuses occasionally. They say, we're countering misinformation, or what's the other one? Trust science, or fact-checking. But generally, the subtlety has really dropped off the edge of the table in the last few years. You know what I think? I reckon these bad guys, these globalists, these deep state creeps, they know more about what's going on than we do. I think they know something is going on, which is threatening their very existence. They've seen a hard stop coming up. Something that even we haven't seen yet, and that's why they did the whole C word. That's why they've done everything that's happened since 2016 has been their terrified reaction to this. Now I don't know what it is they're scared of, but whatever it is, it's good for us. If they're scared, that's good. Oh, Lisa, do watch the rest of Utopia. My God, yeah. And Woody Black mentions Mark Collett. Yes, that's who I was thinking of. Him and Laura Towler. There's been others as well. Now, whatever you think of these people, whether you agree with them or not, do they deserve to have their accounts shut? Not their work accounts for the PA thing, Patriotic Alternative. Their personal current accounts. The banks should not be doing this. Banks are not there to persecute you when you join the wrong party. Alison Norman says, what qualifies as harmful content? Anything that makes you stand up to the government. Della says the Queen is not a reptile, lol, isn't she? Oh, Lisa's doing a show. Yeah, Lisa on Monday is doing a show at 8 p.m. on her channel. www at thecryfreedomshowwithlisa.co.com. Do check that out. Jock of Ages. Yeah, he mentions the Charge of the Light Brigade. I saw the movie. I think it was in that area, the Crimea, southern Ukraine area, yeah. Hey, Ronnie Barkey, thank you very much. Do you think Putin will get assassinated? Probably not, for the same reason that Trump was never assassinated. They'd have done it by now. If they could, they'd have done it by now. Alistair Norwell, if Russia did win a Third World War, they might build it back as something like the Soviet Union and bring back communism. No. Firstly, they wouldn't anyway, but secondly, nobody can win the Third World War. A full-scale Third World War would destroy the world. This is why you don't get these big gun battlefield wars anymore. You can't anymore. We're just too good at killing each other. You can't do it anymore. That's why World War II was a watershed, because it went nuclear at the end. And I think that was the moment people think we can't do this anymore. We can't have another war like that, because if we do, we'll blow up the entire Earth. Charles says, heads up, Ben has gone full tinfoil hat. No shit, Sherlock. When was that, Charles? Hello, Paul Curtis, how are you? How you doing? I can't read out all the... I'm sorry, I can't read out all the comments, sorry. There's too many. I appreciate... I've got actually 85 views. This is a very popular stream, this. Kerry Woolley, will the Queen be laid to rest in Canterbury? Can't bury... I think it'll be Westminster Abbey. I think that's where King George is. She'll probably be buried in the same place. Eman Padima, hello. Edam Padima, I don't think nuclear weapons are a hoax. But there are things... Well, we'll come on to the alien things in a minute. Jason, I can't... Nostradamus' visions. That's too complicated to go into tonight. I'm sorry. Let's go back here. Right. I've done that. Chernobyl. Where is it talking about Chernobyl here? I'll just go back down. Somewhere on this, there's a talk about the Russians seizing Chernobyl. According to the BBC, Putin, there's a lot. The Russians are they're taking a heavy toll on this. They're being hit very hard. Hiding from soldiers again, 80 years later, a London-based Ukrainian woman shared a story about her elderly relative who hid from the Nazi troops during World War II. And later, 8 decades later, she's hiding again in the same basement. Oh dear, I'm sorry, that's sad, that is. I don't believe that Putin would... I don't believe it's his position. It's not like the Hellstorm. I don't know if you saw the film Hellstorm. It's not. This is not the Soviet Union. This is the thing. People are saying, well, the Soviet Union did this, the Soviet Union did that. As I made this point on the last live stream about Ukraine. Putin is not the Soviet Union. If anything, it's the opposite. Twitter blocked for Russian users. Oh my God. Access to Twitter has been blocked for users in Russia. Oh, right. Is that because why is that? Is that because they're disagreeing, or they're getting different stories about what's happening in the war? There's lots of pictures of the building that was hit, and Ukraine shot down a troop aircraft and our IL-76 troop carrier. William and Kate voice support for Ukraine. Estonia joins the ban. This apparently is how much of Ukraine Russia controls right now. The red bits are Russian. That's how much they're controlling. But as you see, they're very close to Kiev. Kiev is not far from the... as you see, it's about 100 miles south of the Belarusian border. And I think we'll have to come on to Chernobyl at some point. Streets of Kiev are empty. Oh dear. Zelensky says, Russians plan to capture me. Derailed. Well, so far, mate, so far. I mean, if he really is one of these criminals, I mean, maybe they will capture him and bring him to justice. France seizes a Russian cargo ship in the English Channel. The French Navy's intercepted a cargo ship bound for the Russian city of St. Petersburg. Why is that, then? It's called Baltic Leader, transporting cars. It's been taken to the French port after a request by the French government because it's suspected of belonging to a company targeted by EU sanctions. All right. So they're not sneaking they're not sneaking bombs in there or something. Can they do that in international waters? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it did slip into French national territorial waters. I don't know. We don't need diplomatic ties with the West, says Medvedev. That's the former Prime Minister. He's the guy who talked about UFOs. Kiev calls for a global embargo on Russian oil. They're desperately trying... Really, there's already been a semi-embargo on Russian oil anyway since the price hike in 2018. That put 100,000 Canadian oil workers out of work, but who cares, eh? Who cares? It gave Russia a hard time. That's all they cared about. So really, Putin is kind of used to... He is used to unpopularity. The major city of Lviv, near the border with Poland, says Ukrainian forces have repelled an attack on the city. Russia landed 60 troops with 3 helicopters in Brody, and the armed forces repelled the occupier. We're keeping the situation under control. Unlike just till now, most of the fighting has been concentrated in the east, north, and south of Ukraine. Yeah, near the capital, and of course in the Russian areas. Poland is refusing to play a World Cup playoff against Russia. Oh dear. Here's some more. A Ukrainian air defense unit has been destroyed now. So this is a Russian attack which succeeded. 198 Ukrainians killed. Okay. Here's Zelensky looking very casual. We will defend our state. I'm not going to watch all that. More weapons sent to Ukraine. Okay. And then we go back to yesterday. There's that awful picture of the building. Again, 9/11 researchers, please take note. It's not collapsing into a pile of dust, is it? I'm just going to find out the stuff about Chernobyl now. I'll just go and check the comments. Hi, Ronnie. Where are we now? Hello, Tony Tiger Varley. Welcome. People seem to be forgetting that Putin has the best weapons on earth. Well, the modern Russian military is it's improved technologically in ways that the Red Army wasn't. Yeah, but like with I think it's very powerful, but like it depends how far this goes. I mean, right now it seems like Ukraine has a blank check for almost everything they want. Tony Tiger Garvey says Putin's Poseidon nuke terrifies me. Well, it's also worth noting they have the Belava. There's the Belava missile, which was supposedly what caused the Norway spiral. You remember the Norway spiral, which it didn't. But now that can be launched from a Borei class submarine, which is similar to the Trident submarines. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't actually attack Russia without destroying the world. You couldn't. It's an awful situation, yeah. I can't read all the comments, sorry guys. Diego Rivera, the Ukrainian president is an actor. Well, he's actually a comedian, but yeah, it's kind of like that, yeah. He's certainly like I said, he's a puppet. He's one of these people who wants Ukraine in NATO and the EU, which what caused the whole problem in 2014 to begin with. Malaya Grimm, hello, how'd you do? Russia is protecting Chernobyl from Ukraine. Paul is protecting Chernobyl from the world. You see, I'll come on to that now, hang on. Who posted about this? I think it was Julie Phelps. Oh, she's also... This is interesting. Foreign donors contributed to the Clinton Foundation. Ukraine is the biggest, 10 million. England is next. Oh dear. Who was it next? She posted something very interesting. Putin is open to talks on Ukraine. Oh, I just... Where's the stuff about Chernobyl she posted? 'Cause, 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 I can't find it. Well, I'll just have to Google it. One sec. I know that Liberace is keeping you. I'll just Google Chernobyl 2022. Oh, what's this? Chernobyl is a nuclear power station. It was a nuclear power station, which is a few miles south of the Belarusian border. In 1986, there was a massive meltdown there, and an explosion which ended up poisoning half the world. The local area is a no-go zone, even after all these years. And the whole thing is sealed in what they call a nuclear sarcophagus, which is like a massive containment vessel. And it's going to have to stay like that for probably about 100,000 years. And there's something called the State Agency of Ukraine on Exclusion Management, which have been running the place. And they've basically been, here we go, Russian forces have taken control of it, and the people there are being held hostage. They say held hostage. It sounds so dramatic. They're probably just being, I bet they're being treated well. I bet you anything they're being treated very humanely. Now, what's happening, what the reason is, I suspect that the deep state might be planning on using that for some kind of false flag. Now, there's a new story here that says Ukraine sees radiation spike in Chernobyl after the Russian attack. Well, what have they bloody done? This is from France 24. What have they done? Are they pulling all the poison material out? Oh, come on, this browser's going so slow. Let me just show you the picture of it. Hang on, because it's like... It's this here. That's one of the biggest buildings in the world, that is. That covers the entire old power station. Ukrainian authorities on Friday said radiation levels had increased, and that the seizure of the nuclear plant by Russian troops could have terrible consequences. Well, what are they going to do? They're not opening the sarcophagus, are they? I think... Oh, here we go. In the terrible hands of the aggressor, a significant amount of plutonium-239 can become a nuclear bomb. No, it needs to be refined enormously. Oh, this is rubbish. This is absolute rubbish. The fuel rods in the fuel, what's left of the nuclear fuel, to turn that into weapons-grade material would have to go through a massive process, a purification process. You'd have to take it back to Russia, and it would probably take a couple of months to do it. Oh, this is bullshit. It could have grave consequences. They've taken over the Chernobyl exclusion zone. These horrible Russians, they're going to break the whole thing open and they're going to start tossing little bits of poison plutonium all over the place. Are they really exchanging that? Why are the radiation levels higher than usual? Why? Even if it's true, gamma radiation has exceeded its significant number of observation points due to the occupation and hostilities. I mean, has the sarcophagus been damaged? It could have been damaged by gunfire. It's true. But what? Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said levels of radioactivity at the plant were normal. Okay, so there's two conflicting stories here. One from Ukraine, one from Russia. That is actually a common feature you'll see all the time in this story. You'll see it everywhere. One side says one thing, the other says another. What I suspect happened, I think Paul Curtis puts it perfectly here. Russia is protecting Chernobyl from Ukraine. Basically, what's happened is the Russians were very quick to seize seize Chernobyl because it's just inside the Belarusian border, as I said. But also, they wanted to prevent a deep state false flag. And that's one false flag they can't do now because the Russians are controlling that site. Oh, it's hello, Ali. Ali of Lisa's colleague on Cry Freedom is listening. Thanks, Ali. Ali, hope you had a nice birthday. Oh, where are we now? Crone Bowler is no. Don't tell me Bowler Hatman's here, is he? He's not arrived at last, has he? He won't be able to resist it. He'll show up at some point. There we know. Go back up a bit. Nihilist Lives Matter. US sending 50 Patriot missiles and batteries, and Kyle Rittenhouse to repel the Russian invasion. Kyle he'll switch sides if Kyle goes there. I'll tell you. He'll be firing from the hip, running across the ground, killing those damn Ukrainians left, right, and centre. David says there are hundreds of workers at Chernobyl. Yeah, it's basically a maintenance crew to basically keep the place contained. They're part of this exclusion division thing, and they don't spend too much time there. Yeah, for safety. That's right. You can actually go on holiday to Ukraine and visit the site. Miles Power did that. You could only spend about an hour there, but you could go there for a time. Alistair says, I remember Richard D. Hall a while ago said all the countries that America has invaded are installing puppet governments and they actually have formed a strategic area around Russia. Well, if you look at the geographical spread, yeah. E-Man makes this point as well. The food and fuel hikes will help the green agenda. Absolutely. That's right, the whole Agenda 21 thing. Yeah. Jock of Ages. No, Jock of Ages, that is Liberace. His name's Alan. He lives upstairs from me. I call him Liberace. Charles, Ben, Terry Joyce demands you tidy your bedroom. Oh, and Terry is now Jordan Peterson, is she? Oh, dear. Look. Lisa says, I reckon untidy bedrooms are the least of our concerns. Look, guys, I'm a single bloke, all right? If I had a girlfriend, this place would be spick and span. Not so much as room as a hobbit hole, says Charles. Yeah, I keep all my bottles of wine and things in there, yeah. E-Man Padima, I was saying nukes have never been used. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were firebombed. I can't go into that tonight, I'm sorry. Dog's respect. When a king or queen dies, they announce it. But the queen is dead, long live the king. Only when they decide to. It's when they announce it. That's the things. Raminta is worried about the stack of books toppling. They're actually mostly DVDs, and they won't hurt me much. My books are actually over there, onto my left. But if they fall over, it won't hurt me much. They have fallen over a couple of times, yeah. David says, do you know that electrical power is still coming from the plant, from the remaining working reactors? I didn't know. I didn't. I thought the whole place was shut down. I know it's reactor number 4 was the one that blew up. Terry says, I'll come over and clean your room, Ben. Oh, Terry, it'll be a long bus ride for you, but yeah, you're welcome to give me a hand if you want. Kerry Woolley, is there a Russian soldier under your bed? I'm absolutely certain that Bowler Hatman thinks so. Hello, Trevor, Social Dilemma, how you doing? All right, guys, go on to the next part of my notes. There've been a couple of stories that sound a little bit Jessica Lynch coming out of all this. Now, if you remember, Jessica Lynch was a young woman who was she was in her early 20s, and in the late 90s she joined the army because she wanted to be a nursery nurse, but she had to do a course at university, and she decided to join the army for a couple of years and then get it on the GI Bill rather than pay for it, take out a student loan. So she wasn't a career soldier, she wasn't a lifer. Then before she knows it, of course, the war breaks out. 9/11 happens. She's shoved over to Iraq. She's on a convoy, a supply convoy, gets ambushed. She breaks her leg, massive compound fracture, is taken to a nearby hospital. The doctors there feel sorry for her. They don't, and the thing is, she's to be treated as a prisoner of war, and The government want to interrogate her and things like that, and probably end up executing her. The doctors in the hospital and the nurses they feel sorry for her, so they contact the Americans and say, "We've got this lady here, Jessica Lynch. She's one of your soldiers. We want to give her back to you. We don't want to hand her in as a prisoner of war. We want to return her to you. Could you arrange a place where you'll come and pick her up?" So the Americans say, "Thank you very much. Just drive to this particular checkpoint at this particular time. We'll make sure there's an ambulance there. You could transfer her." But guess what? Before they get Jessica out of the hospital, someone obviously on the American side has had a little bit of a conflab, and they said, "We can make a bit of propaganda out of this." So before they have time to get Jessica out of the hospital, there's the sound of helicopters landing on the roof. Special forces soldiers suddenly come down the stairwells, bursting into the ward, waving their guns around. They handcuff everybody, including some of the other patients were handcuffed to their beds. They then carry Jessica out to the helicopter and fly her out that way. Now, they almost got away with it. They wanted to create a fake story, an Ogilvy, which we all well talked about. In 1984, there's that fake war hero, Ogilvy. They wanted to turn her, a sensitive, vulnerable young woman, at the hands of these evil Iraqis, into a war heroine. And luckily, the true story did come out. The doctor was even interviewed in a documentary. But they wanted to make out that they'd rescued her from the clutches of the evil Iraqis. When the actual doctor, they were going to hand her over willingly. And it's rather like that film Wag the Dog. I don't know if you've ever seen Wag the Dog. Do watch it, because I got a feeling we're looking at a kind of Wag the Dog situation here. It's brilliant. There's Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman. Fantastic film about basically the lies people tell in war propaganda. Now, have you heard of the Kiev Ghost? There's the Kiev Ghost. Where is the Kiev Ghost? Oh yeah, he's a pilot ace. Here we go. La 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 la. La 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 la. Here we go. La 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 la. Here we go. This is the guy. Would you bugger off? No, I don't want to sign in. He's who's the Ghost of Kiev? The fighter pilot inspires Ukrainian. Oh, there's no evidence he actually exists. Oh, now it's all coming out because this was reported as fact. Now the Kiev Ghost was a pilot ace. Apparently, on Thursday, when the 6 Russian planes were shot down, apparently it was the work of one fighter pilot, and he was called the Kiev Ghosts. And he became an internet sensation. This was the hero of Ukraine. And it was reported as fact, and now they're saying there's no evidence he actually exists. But that's an example of what I'm talking about. This is a Jessica the Lynch type story. I'm going to go on to another one now. This sounds a little bit suspicious. Another tale of daring do, which sounds a little bit suspicious. Where's the... Oh, there's so many things about this. Here we go. Snake Island. Ukraine says soldiers killed after refusing to surrender. Ukraine has honoured 13 soldiers who defended the tiny island base. Yeah, this was what it was. They said Russian warship, go to hell. They actually said something much ruder than that, apparently. But Snake Island is this tiny little island off the coast of Ukraine in the Black Sea. But there's a base for the Ukrainian border force. I'm on screen cap, yeah. And there were 13 border force guards manning it at the time. Their job was basically to intercept shipping and gather intelligence and things like that. Anyway, 2 Russian warships approached the island and demanded that the garrison surrender. They trained their guns on the island to demand the garrison surrender. And they said very bravely, go fuck yourself. And that's become a bit of a refrain now. Go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself. Defiant to the last. Knowing they were outgunned, outnumbered, they still decided to stay at their posts and refuse to give in. The Russian ships then opened fire and all 13 men were killed. They've now been made heroes of Ukraine. It's a bit, it's like... how many of you have seen Wag the Dog? Just let me know if you've seen. Just Post a 1 in chat if you've seen Wag the Dog. Oh, Jason Gove's not seen it. Do please watch it. I've not seen The Irishman, but I hear a lot about it. If you've seen Wag the Dog, let me know. 1, great, David, great. Woody Black, pleased. I'm glad you've seen it. Terry, you've seen it too, great. Sue, great. If you remember, it's not really a spoiler, but there's a guy in it. He's played by Woody Harrelson, and he's like a war prisoner. He's like a prisoner of war in this war. He's an American, and he becomes a kind of Ogilvy type character. And even remember, he tears holes in his jumper, and it's actually Morse code that says "Courage, Mom." And his good old shoe, isn't it? Do you remember Good Old Shoe? Do you remember that song? And they supposedly find an old 1930s sort of crooning hit called Good Old Shoe, but they actually just made it up, and it becomes a #1 hit. And there's people just throw their shoes in the air and hang them over branches and wires. Kerry Woolley, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Do you know who... That's a quotation, isn't it, Kerry? Do you know who it's from? Do you know who it's from? This is... Oh, yeah, Woody Black, remember Dustin Hoffman. He keeps saying, this is nothing. Yeah, he's this overconfident Hollywood producer who's brought in by this... Basically by a president to basically by a president who wants to win the election, and so they have a war. They do what the same thing. Biden is doing the same thing. Whenever a leader is or represent Kerry Woolley, correct? Goebbels, Hitler's propaganda minister. Whenever a leader or a representative of the global community is unpopular, what do? A war either comes along or they start one. I mean, Margaret Thatcher was very lucky in that respect with the Falklands War, and so is Biden is too. And Biden, this is the only thing that's stopping people talking about Biden and all the other things. Is the terrible economic policies, everything else. They're not talking about this now because of this war. That's another reason why they're bringing this. That's not the main reason they're doing this war, but that's one of the reasons. As was stated on UK Column, you know, there's no... people say, well, they're portraying this as a completely... it's just, it's nasty old Putin leaving Ukraine alone. All Ukraine wants to do is be left alone. And nasty old Putin has to come along and spoil their innocence. Utter crap. That's an absolute opposite of what is true. David recommends Chernobyl Cafe, yeah. Oh, somebody's pointed out, somebody like who was, I think he was in the Royal Signals, he was on Facebook saying that he listened to the radio chatter, the radio conversation over the Snake Island thing doesn't make sense. He says that's not a real military communication, where you hear between the two of them. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't a battle there. I'm not saying there wasn't. I'm sure there was a battle between the Ukraine border force and the Russian Navy. But all this heartrending defiance and things like that, I suspect that's actually made up. I suspect that is good old shoe, good old shoe, good old shoe. Oh, honestly, man, I'm so glad so many of you seen Wag the Dog. I mean, I'm glad you had. Now, what are we on next? Biolabs. That's the next thing on the list. Biolabs in Ukraine. What's all this about? Now, this lady, what's her name? The truth about Ukraine lady. She talks about the biolabs. Red Pill the World. She mentions biolabs in Ukraine. What's that all about? Oh, it's been fact-checked. It's true then. Snopes. Oh, right, I Google it. What do I get? I get Snopes. I get PolitiFact. I get USA Today. It must be true. It's got to be true if that's the case. It's apparently just information. There we go. Why has Google changed its picture? Hang on, here we go. Oh, it's false, apparently. Well, I don't... Unfortunately, I'm not willing to say what's... Just because Snopes says it's false. But apparently... I'll have to look into this some more. I mean, it could be. You see, it could be that, even a stopwatch is right twice a day. Could it be the Snopes are right this time? But according to the various sources that I've been reading about, UK Column didn't mention this, I don't think, but someone else did. But there was some biological warfare laboratories in Ukraine. I've heard about this. Yes, I've heard about this before. Hang on. This came up before. Oh, when was it? It was a few years ago. It's true. There are all the biotech companies have facilities in Ukraine. When was it? US working with Ukraine with biolabs, says Greg H. Hello, Sonia White. How do you do? They've been sticking the bear for too long. Yeah, the provocation has been unbelievable, Sonia. Oh my God, it's oh my God, yeah. Do watch it, Lisa. Watch Utopia first, but do watch Wag the Dog too. They're both. Salty Cracker did a video on it. Oh right, I'll have to check that out. Oh, because I subbed to him. By the way, Elisa, the dark scheme here is really good. This dark scheme on YouTube really does the trick. It's much better. It was Lisa who told me how to do that. Where is he now? Yeah. Oh, this is. Oh God, he's put loads of videos up. I've got to check this out. Oh, the stuff, mainstream media screens that Putin, yeah. Oh, and here we go. This is the video you're talking about, I think. I'll watch that later, but I want to watch it properly, so I won't go into that right now. But I distinctly remember a few years ago seeing a story about biological laboratories in Ukraine. There was some kind of scandal. It was being run by I think it was DARPA together with Pfizer or Moderna or someone they were running biological laboratories in Ukraine, and there was some kind of fuss about it. Kerry, if you provoke the bear, you'll have to grin and bear it. That's a good one, yeah. Dragon on standby. China on stand. Oh, where China comes into, I couldn't even begin to see. Yeah, supposed to be on the US Ukraine embassy website confirming the biolaboratories. Yeah, I hope the Russians seize them quickly, because the deep state will want to do something with them. There's a map with them where they are. Let me just go back to the map I had before. I'll go back to the map. I'll put you on screen share. Let's go to images. Oh, it's all right. This is. But you can see where they are. There's some near Kiev. Oh, good. According to this map, and this is the only. Oh, it's all just debunking, but still, look where they are. The south, near Kiev, and in Donbass. So hopefully the Russians have got most of them already. Which means that, because if they do, it means that the deep state can't use them for a false flag. So that's Chernobyl out the way. That's Chernobyl disarmed, and the biological warfare is disarmed. That's what you want to see. Thank goodness for that. Now, this is a weird one, isn't it? Yeah, this is a weird one. Hang on. I wonder if this has been debunked. USSR flag on Russian tank. Is this true? An occupant tank with a Soviet flag is moving towards Kherson. It's been talked about on Twitter. Newsweek. Video shows Russian tank flying a Soviet flag. Are you on screen share? Should be on screen share. During the Ukraine invasion. Come on. A video of a tank. Oh, bugger off. A video of a tank flying what appears to be the flag of the Soviet Union, reportedly driving along the Dnieper River, has been shared on social media. The tank can be seen speeding along a group of Russian tanks, and a white-painted Z is visible. That's really the Z thing. A lot of people are pointing out that these tanks have the letter Z painted on them. That could be meant to ensure those can be differentiated from Ukrainian ones. But a lot of people are pointing out the Z things because the Ukrainians have similar vehicles, right? What's this then? Oh my goodness. I don't know what the policy is on. I mean, obviously that's not the flag of Russia. Is that some kind of piece of disinformation? Oh, there's several other photos of this flag here with this Soviet flag. Soviet flag spotted on a Russian tank. Is it just one tank or is it all of them? You see, obviously the Russian Federation can't fly that flag. I mean, it's literally illegal to fly that flag officially. Now, to give you an example, I mean, you may have watched, if you watch the Apollo Detectives, you'll know this. But the Apollo Detectives, we talked about the fact that they had a flag flying on the Mir space station. It was the hammer and sickle of the Soviet Union. And in December '91, the astronaut contingent up on the Mir were ordered to take it down. They said you cannot fly that flag anymore. So they had to do a special EVA. They had to get a spacewalk and go out and take the flag down. And they didn't actually have a Russian flag, so they couldn't put any flag to replace it. They did say, we will send you up a flag, a new Russian Federation flag, when it was the CIS in those days, the Commonwealth of Independent States. Right, let's just go through your comments here. But obviously, if someone has put that on their tank, it's obviously unofficial. I mean, I don't know what the legal status of it is. I know that if in Germany, if you fly the swastika, the Nazi flag, it's a criminal offence. Now I know that the hammer and sickle symbol, the red flag, the Soviet Union flag in Russia is very different. They're not as you know, they're not ashamed of their past in Russia the way the Germans are. You know, they are actually, which it's odd really, but obviously we know the reason why one is ashamed of it and the other is not. But the Nazi period in Germany was 12 years, 13 years, and the Soviet period was much longer. It was like 70 odd years. This was 1917 to 1991, and they're not ashamed of that, even though it lasted much longer and did far much more damage. So, Greg says, what's the large Z on the tank? World War Z. Oh, you've seen that film, have you? Have you seen World War Z, where the zombies are throwing themselves at the wall? Oh, Dr. Respect, yeah, this is awful. This was a Russian tank drove over a car. There actually looks like it was deliberate, too. And it had an elderly person inside. I mean, luckily he survived. He was like, the car was flattened, and everyone thought he's going to be flattened too, but they managed to get him out. He wasn't hurt, luckily. But that was awful, that was, yeah. Iron Man Spartan, don't persecute the Russian people, no. I just want to make it clear, if anyone's watching, I'm not an enemy of the Russian people. I'm not an enemy of the Russian nation. I'm not jumping on this Russophobic bandwagon that we have been told we have to jump on. I'm not good. You know, this is. I'm not a part of this. Then Russia's not my enemy. I believe Russia is actually a friend of the free people of the world, but we've been told otherwise because of the bloody deep state. Z. Oh right. Dante Alighieri says Z is actually a reference to Zelensky. All right, okay. Ravenhill says, Ben, have you heard the news? Russia's warned Finland not to join NATO. Yeah, I think he's had enough. Putin's had enough of this expansion of NATO, which is obviously part of this attack to try and bring down that country. Alistair says, I think a lot of Russian people might actually want to return to communism. Well, the Communist Party is still active, but most of them don't. And I mean, the modern Russian Federation, ironically, is one of the biggest anti-communist forces in the world right now. The communism is in our country. It's in the West. It's the soft skill communism of I talk about a lot, the political correctness and things like that. Glowtone says the tank that drove over the car with the civilian side was under fire from across the road. A truck had been shot at and the Russian soldiers were dead. Oh, so it wasn't actually targeting the car. Sonia White, the Union Jack, not the Union flag. I think it's the Union Jack if it's on a ship, I think. Huge arseholes, hello. If we invade countries, it's okay, though. Well, according to George W. Bush, yeah. Sonia White, what have I skipped? I didn't skip anything. What were you saying? Sorry. I might have missed your other comment. Last thing on my notes, what about the aliens? Now, somebody, I think it was Bernie Tucker, said something about nuclear war and aliens. Now, this is a very interesting thing. Because UFOs, if you're interested in UFOs exhibit all kinds of different... they come in all kinds of different forms. The aliens... There's an actual virtual taxonomy of aliens now. They could be almost anything. Now... I'm not buffering, am I? No one's complaining about buffering, so I assume I'm not. I'm still streaming, okay? But aliens seem to have many, many different agendas. They appear to... Oh, Mike Pompeo. All right, Greg. What did you say about Mike Pompeo? I'll come back to the aliens in a minute. You said something about Mike Pompeo. I saw he did a speech, didn't he? Watch Mike Pompeo. Yeah, I didn't see all his speech, but he apparently seems to be... Did he say something about... Is he against is he against the intervention into Ukraine? Anyway, the aliens. Let's go back to aliens, guys. The one thing that they do, though, even though they seem to exhibit a wide variety of behaviour, they seem to have many different agendas. There's good ones, bad ones. Most of them are pretty indifferent. Whenever you have anything to do with nuclear power or nuclear weapons, aliens appear nearby. Isn't that weird? I myself took a photograph. You may have seen the video where I talked on the article. When I was on a hiking holiday back in 1998, I was at the Firth of Clyde in Scotland. Well, there was a nuclear weapons base nearby. It was the Trident. The Trident facility was there, the arms depot. I took a photograph. A little disc-shaped object appears in it. I didn't see anything at the time. And this goes on. This pattern repeats and repeats and repeats. Peaceful War. You saw a UFO in Iraq. It looked like a block of flats in the sky. It wasn't triangular shaped, was it, Peaceful Warrior? Like the Penta UFO. Sonia White. Okay, I'll look into Mike Pompeo. I mean, I've watched the rest. I'll watch the rest of his speech. But okay, you see, whenever nuclear weapons appear, or sometimes nuclear power as well, you see UFOs. In 1980, December 1980, Rendlesham Forest. Now that came at a very sticky moment in history as well, because if you remember, well, you probably don't remember, it was a long time ago. I don't, but Solidarity had just taken power in Poland. And the Red Army, the Soviets had sent the Red Army onto the border, and everyone was terrified there'd be another bloodbath like there was in Hungary in 1956, Czechoslovakia in 1968. And basically, the Americans were phoning up the Russians and saying, "Leave Poland alone. Don't go in there. We will defend Poland if you go in there." So we were getting quite close to war at that point. And guess what? UFOs appear at the biggest nuclear arms depot in Britain. David Jacobs, Dr. David Jacobs, photographer he was a photographer working for a a launch for NASA, I think. It was the launch. They were launching a missile. And his job was to film this missile for its entire flight path, from launch for its booster stage, when it goes into space, and when it detaches the warhead. And if you've seen the film, you watch the film UFOs and Nukes if you've never seen it. And Kelly said they show up in times of war. Yeah. Let me just see if is it on YouTube, UFOs and Nukes? Hang on. Oh, hang on. It used to be. I know it's on Amazon Prime, I think, or on Netflix. All right, it's not on YouTube anymore. It used to be on YouTube. So you can get it on Netflix or somewhere. But do watch UFOs and Nukes if you can. It's not actually quite feature length. It's about an hour long. And guess what? A flying saucer, a classic flying saucer, appears, fires a beam of light at it. It blows up. Captain Bob Salas, sitting in his nuclear bunker up near Maelstrom Air Force Base. Just waiting for the call to come where you might have to launch the missiles. Anyway, the security guards on the surface, they report, Captain Salas, there's a big red light flying around out here. At that very moment, the missiles all, for some reason, just suddenly shut down. There's a similar, hang on, UFO nuclear launch. There's another one in the Soviet Union. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Institute 22. In 1982, Institute 22, blah 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 blah. In 1982, what is it? In 1982. A Soviet nuclear base was brought online for no apparent reason, and a nuclear missile was ready to launch. The people in the base, rather like Captain Salas, they sit in this bunker waiting for the possibility they might have launched their weapon. They didn't do anything, and this missile was brought into readiness mode. After 30 seconds of panic and chaos, the launch was aborted as mysteriously as appeared. Later, witnesses said there had been some UFO activity near the base. The UFOs were explained as flares while the army was testing them from a high altitude. The nuclear crisis was explained as a simple test. You can't do tests on this. I think Timothy Good made this point in the book. You can't do tests on frontline nuclear armed units. That's how you get people killed. Sometimes millions of people killed. And the guys in the base were absolutely terrified because they thought this missile's about to launch. Nothing. It started on its own, which shouldn't be possible because you have to enter codes and things like that. So aliens seem to have an interest in nuclear weapons. Now, why is that? Now, there are some people say, especially what happened with Rendlesham, or with Bob Jacobs, is that. Peaceful Warriors saying more about the thing he saw. Best way to describe it would be to say it looked like some folk were home and some weren't due to the light pattern on it. Wow. Peaceful Warrior, are you familiar with the Penturk incident? That was been described as being a bit like a block of flats. That's a real close encounter you had there. That's quite something. Well, there are a lot of stories like that in Iraq. Charles is not the only thing Jacobs has been taking pictures of. Well, you know what happened to Jacobs? He was summoned to the office, and Major Mansman, his boss, says, "What is this? What is this?" And Bob says, "Looks like we had a UFO, sir." And he said, "Jacobs, you're never to talk about that again." And he says, "Yes, sir." And guess what? The thing is, Bob Jacobs has talked about it, and he did a talk at UFO Truth Magazine conference about it. And guess what? Major Mansman is now backing him up. He's been interviewed. He's backing him up. Oh, Ancient Aliens talks about UFOs and power stations. Yeah. Jason Cavea, the Rendlesham Forest is one of the most fascinating cases of all. Yeah. are we now? Dr. Respect, I don't watch Game of Thrones. Believe it or not, some people do. Some people don't. Where was I now? Yeah. So, the question is, are they giving us a message? Are they giving us a message? Because their interest in our nuclear weapons, especially what they do with Bob Jacobs, shooting down that missile, is like indicating, well, possibly because there was a plan to detonate a nuclear bomb on the moon, which is crazy. They were going to they would actually blow up a massive nuke on the moon. They were going to call the crater. They were going to give the crater name. They were going to name the crater Benjamin Franklin or something. It was ridiculous. But it could be that the aliens are given a message saying, look, we don't approve of you using these weapons, but if you're going to use them, keep them on your own planet. Some people speculate that the aliens are actually protecting us from ourselves. That if it ever came to a point where we were actually firing these things at each other, which of course would be the end of the world, it would be an extinction level event. If that ever happened, they would intervene and prevent it happening using their own anti-missile systems, which have been demonstrated to us. Now, I hope that, obviously, Nihilist Lives Matter says Nuke the Moon sounds like a B movie. Believe it or not, it's actually the title of a book which talks about these kinds of things. Oh, Sonia, I'll look up the Mike Pompeo thing in a little while. But China is, I think China is a third party we shouldn't ignore at the moment. Yeah, Peaceful War. The Penturk incident is very interesting. I've done several videos about the Penturk incident. There's one on the Paranormal Scholar channel as well, worth watching. But some people speculate the aliens are actually our guardians. They're protecting us, and well, you can see they do. Funny enough, that in a sense, UFOs have always been around, but they became a big thing in 1947, which was just after the end of World War II, when, of course, did go nuclear at the end. And we were developing nuclear weapons after that. In a sense, you could say everything since then has been a global flap. As Jim Mars put it, oh my God, the kids have found the matches. However, I mean, obviously, I hope that would happen. Jason, I've read Communion by Whitley Strieber. Interesting book. Obviously, if it ever came to firing missiles and the UFOs intervened, stopped it, I hope it would happen. Obviously, who wouldn't hope that would happen? On the other hand, there's no guarantee that they do that. It's possible that we may have misinterpreted their SV81V3 subbed. Thank you, SZX81V2. Thank you. I used to have a ZX81 when I was a little kid. But you know, it's like, hello, Gary Robinson, how you doing? There's no guarantee that would happen. Also, maybe we are interpreting their behaviour a bit too generously. What if their interest in our nuclear weapons has another motive? What if what they're doing is... what if what they're doing is actually maybe a prelude to some kind of invasion? Because if they were planning to come down and take us over like in War of the Worlds, I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. But but just in case, if that happens, it's probably going to be another false flag. If that happens, it could be their interest in our nuclear weapons is a prelude to that. They're interested in our defences. They're interested in our capabilities because they know they're going to have to deal with them. So we don't know. I mean, it's an unknown factor. It is possible. I hope it's possible that they, you know, if this Ukraine thing leads to a massive war, which, of course, any major war now between any kind of massive international war now between nuclear armed nations will, obviously, eventually they will probably be used at some point, which will be devastating. We've seen this. Look at the India-Pakistan situation. Charles goes, it's absolute rubbish. It's been proven to be. Sufon dropped Gary and Kaz because it's absolute rubbish. Well, guess what, Charles? I'm speaking at a Sufon meeting on Thursday. So I'll get the chance maybe to talk to him about that. Right. ZX81 says if they wanted control of this planet, they would have taken it long a time ago. I think so. Besides which, I mean, ZX81, whenever someone asks me, well, what if a real alien invasion happens? What if it's not a fake one? My answer is very, very simple. The alien invasion has already happened. It happened a long time ago. And the aliens are in control, I think, to a certain point. Oh, Araminta, thank you very much for doing that for Peaceful Warrior. I was going to get like the show him how it was spelt and everything, but thank you very much for doing that. Nihilist Lives Matter. The aliens might just be studying the Great Filter in real time. Could be. Gary, yes, it's about Ukraine. It's the second one I've done on Ukraine. But that's all. I think that's all my notes done now. I've already been through your comments. Just double check. I think I could be coming back to this because, as I said, we mentioned Pompeo, China, things like that. Oh, Huge Arsehole says the Snake Island thing is fake. All 13 are alive. Hugh, they're probably not alive. They probably were killed. However, the story of their sort of this movie-like plot about how they said, "Go fuck yourselves." It's just, as it is. It's just very Hollywood. It's Wag the Dog. It's Jessica Lynch. I don't think it's true. I'm sorry those guys died. You know, they weren't soldiers actually. They were border security. They were the border thing. The border force, which they're not actually soldiers, but it's sad. But I don't think they're being used essentially. Their memory is being exploited. I think. Terry says I like the word rubbish. We don't use it as much in the US. No, you say garbage, don't you? Garbage. Now David says unless Dr. David Jacobs is right. It's Bob Jacobs. David Jacobs is... Oh, no, I know who you mean. Sorry, you're talking about a different Jacobs, yeah. Dr. David Jacobs. Sorry, I thought you were getting confused with Bob Jacobs. The aliens are using a soft invasion over generations through hybrids, blending in with the general population. Yeah. Believe it or not, I mean, I've met people who are like that. I've met people I think are part of that. Thanks, Peaceful Warrior. You're very welcome. Hugh Jostles, the Ukrainian defence page on says he believes they're still alive. David Schultz, if there's an invasion, it'll be like the film The Arrival. I wish it would be, because that is the best alien invasion movie ever, that is. Anyway, guys, there's not more I can add except to say I'm sorry this is happening. You know my position on this. You know I'm not pointing the finger at Putin and saying he's evil. I'm not an enemy of his. I'm not an enemy of the Russian nation or the Russian people. I'm not believing the lies told me by the mainstream media, and I believe they are lies. Charles, David Jacobs is the guy who got busted. No, that's what's his name, the alien in the window guy. What's his name? I can't remember his bloody name now. But he had an alien appeared peeking in his window once. So yeah, just to say that I'm obviously going to have to come back to this. It's only 3 days since this invasion started. It's early days, so we'll have to see. But anyway, you're welcome, Hugo Rune. Thank you for watching. And night, Charles from Project Camelot. Good evening, Alistair Norman. Huge arsehole. I think the Russians will resort to nukes. There's always the danger that either side could resort to nukes. Depends how far this escalates. If that happens, then we can just only hope the aliens save it. It's like, I think it was Martin Heidegger who says, nobody can save us but God. Oh, Jacobs got busted too. Oh dear. I've not heard about that. I know the guy who the alien in the window guy he got busted with trafficking child porn or something. See you, Araminta, I will. It's only 9 PM. I thought I'm not going to go on for 4 hours or anything, but... Going to watch Zombievers, says Jock of Ages. What's that? Is that some kind of horror porn movie? Oh. Bernie Tucker, you're very, very welcome. There's going to be another video coming soon. Obviously, I'm going to make a reportage of my trip to Swansea on Thursday. I may make another video before then. It depends if I've got time. But keep watching the channel. Oh, there's another Apollo Detectives coming as well. You're welcome, User One. But thanks all of you. Take it easy, David Schultz. Much appreciated. It's been another good... I'm sorry it's not on a happier subject, but we don't know how it's going to go. It might go all right. Things might work out. Night, Aussiecast. See you, Glowtone. This might end happily. The Trump's doing his speech at APAC tomorrow. There's that video on Rumble I showed you. That seems to think that there's a plan behind this, which is going to go all right. I'm sorry you can't get the Swansea ZX81. I know Araminta's going, but I do hope anyone who gets there can. Oh, there are real zombie beavers, Jock of Ages. Is that right? Oh, dear. And, of course, don't forget to tune in to the Cry Freedom Show with Lisa, Monday, 8 p.m. So, you guys take it easy. It's been a really, really good show. And on a sad note, of course, and I'm sorry for everyone who's been killed in all this on both sides. I'm not beating the war drums here. It's the Bidens and those people who are beating the war drums. I hope this wouldn't happen. I hope it will end peacefully, or as peacefully as possible, as soon as possible. But at the end of the day, just remember what the mainstream media is saying to you about Vladimir Putin is fake. It's wrong. Night CL Racing UK Ludicrous. Take it easy. Bye all of you, and thank you very much for watching.